The short or long video showing different truck parts. Finally getting the gist of the videos. I'll explain quick and somehow subtle. So these are 3 release bearings, clutch release bearings, that's the full outer name. They fit Mercedes-Benz trucks, Mercedes-Benz V trucks, V engine trucks. That's basically V6, V8, V12. Majorly they are used in V8 and V6 series. V12 uses a bigger bearing since it has a bigger gearbox. So as you can see, they all have different heights. The one on the right here has it's a bit shorter than the center one, and the center one is shorter than the one on the left. That's because of the different series of gearboxes and the different types of forks, release bearing forks used on different V vehicles or V engine vehicles. So the release forks and the gearboxes type are codependent with the size of the bearing. For the 3 bearings, they fit different trucks. They fit not only V6 engines. These bearings are commonly used in Euro trucks. By Euro trucks, I mean trucks that are made in Europe, Germany, Iceland, all those countries in Europe. They use such a bearing, Germany, etc., etc. So for the MAN truck, that's a good example. MAN truck, there's a version of the MAN truck that uses this bearing. Even if you cross-reference the OEM numbers, they'll give you a different part number for the MAN trucks, which cross-references with these ones for the Benz. There's a different truck, the DAF. The DAF uses a similar type of bearing. Let me clarify something. By bearing, I mean the lower part of this. This is a release bearing assembly in totality. So when I zoom in, this is a release bearing assembly, meaning the lower part is the release bearing. The upper part is the release bearing housing, which in conjunction with the nipple, the new ones don't come with release bearing greasing nipples, but they are definitely available. They're miniature expenditures, so it can be provided. But they don't come with it because you need to remove the one that was previously in the truck before replacing it with a new one. So the lower part, as you can see, this is what we call the bearing, this lower part. If I can zoom in a bit, right there, you can see there's a space between the housing right here. This is where the release bearing starts. So that's the release bearing of the truck. The upper part here is the fork holder or the release bearing housing. From here to here, the lower part is the release bearing. So by saying the release bearing, I mean that it can be replaced in other different trucks which use a different form of release bearing housing. For the DAF trucks, the 4x4 military ex-military, they were used ancient times, but now the ex-military trucks, that's the right name. For the ex-military trucks, they use the bearing, the lower bearing, with a different housing, so which can be replaced on different housings for the DAF trucks. Same as for the Iveco. If your bearing is similar to this, with the same fork holder size, you just need to change your lower bearing and it will fit perfectly. You can cross-reference the OEM numbers, they are all the same. I'll take pictures of the release bearing when it's outside the fork to explain better. The other thing I need to talk about release bearing is the fork holders. So the different types of fork holders for release bearings. As you can see here, let me come closer. There's a step here. So there's a release bearing housing that doesn't have the fork holders. For those series of vehicles, the fork holder lies on top of this bearing here, and these spaces, as you can see here, there's this soft smooth patch on the left and right. So the fork comes and lies here just like that, and here. For this series of V series, the fork holder lies on top of the release bearing housing right here. So the lower part isn't part of the fork holding system. But I like Germans, not Germans, Europeans had better ideas with the release bearings. So they formed a release bearing, the lower side, that can be replaced into different vehicles in case it's needed to be sold for a different part. That's why they put the lower fork holder plates together with the release bearing housing with the fork holder on the left. So if you need to interchange the lower bearing with other vehicles, you can easily just remove it and remount it on the different vehicles. So these bearings are used in DAF trucks. You can find it with these holder plates. You can use it with this one, as long as your release bearing has the fork holders on the top. It's completely usable. If the fork holders are on the lower part, then you need to use this one specifically, where the fork will lie on top of the release bearing. They are definitely genuine. Not that I don't have non-genuine parts, but for these series of bearings, these are such parts. Don't mind the boxes, they're a bit overwhelmed, but I can zoom in on the OEM numbers. These are the OEM numbers for the release bearings. You can Google them for confirm. The barcodes are also genuine, they are old stock. So probably when I sell to you a release bearing without a box, just understand that the box was messed up. But if you need the pieces, I'll just keep them for convenience and insurance. So they are all available at Patrak. If you need any explanations about the V-Series, I'm in a better part to explain. I'm also younger, so I'm not really conversant with the V-Series, except the parts part. But I have my bosses, my dad specifically, who can be in a better position to explain. So I deal with different types of release bearings, not only V-Series. There's the Isuzu bearings, F-Series, FRR, FTS, FVZ, new model, old model. There is Land Cruisers, all bearings in general, even the wheel hub bearings. They are all available in stock. If I don't have them, I can cross-reference them with my neighbors from Japan or China, depending on your convenience and your pockets. Thank you.